I don't put these videos out so that you can panic. I put them out so that you don't have to panic because you're already prepared. Because without information, we will always be reactive instead of proactive. And being a prepper is all about being proactive. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are new community members, meaning that you subscribed here a short while ago, what I do after I do a live stream, not all the time, but when I feel that I missed a lot of questions during the live stream, is I go back, I answer some questions, and also in this video I'm going to include what I like to call the meat and potatoes of the live stream, meaning that for those of you that don't have an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes to spend going through the entire live stream to catch the meat and potatoes of what that live stream was about, you can come back and spend maybe 15 or 20 minutes on a video that covers what was mainly talked about during that live stream, or the subject matter that was covered during that live stream. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm just going to start off with the Q&A. We have a few questions here that I missed, actually a few questions and a couple of comments that I thought were great comments, so I'm going to go ahead and include them in here. And the first comment here, not a question, is from MK Ultra. Great comment. You can prep all you want, but eventually you will have to learn to grow your own food. Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. I like to say that preparedness is the gateway to self-reliance, meaning that we start out as preppers, or for a good example, myself. I've started out as a prepper. I am a prepper, meaning what? That I get those things, including the skills that I need in order to survive through a crisis. However, in my opinion, prepping is like a gateway to self-reliance, meaning that it's a gateway to homesteading. As you can see here, throughout the years, I've been working on my property, trying to get it to where I have all of the infrastructures necessary to start to homestead. I've been dipping my toes into a little bit of gardening. This year, I'm going to be building a chicken coop and hopefully getting some chickens here pretty soon. And then eventually, I'll just build upon that. So great point by MK Ultra. The other one, which is a comment as well, is from Dana M. And she said this: yesterday at Walmart, there was nothing to buy on the oil shelves, nothing for diesel or gasoline, and no additives, but there were a lot of windshield wipers. Ladies and gentlemen, that is one of the reasons why I do videos that I try to forecast what the probabilities are of something happening in the future. That way you don't have to panic, and you can go out there and use your own intellect to decide whether or not you yourself need to prepare for that one thing that I'm talking about. All right, our first question is, should we be preparing for 3 years? Well, don't take it from me. Take it from the World Bank president, who said not too long ago, I think it was on Face the Nation, check out one of my last 2 or 3 videos. I have a clip on there where he said that we will be having food shortages for at least the next 3 years, if not more. The next question is going to be by Ghosty. Good to see you, Ghosty, by the way. Gas generators. What brand or power should I get? The lowest to the highest. I'm not going to answer that question fully, but I am going to go ahead and leave a card on the upper right hand corner of this video where I went over that information on what size generator should you get. And what I talked to you about are the ones that I have and why I have them. And then I'll also go ahead and leave for you another card where it shows you how to identify what size generator you need. So in one video, I'll show you which ones I have and how I like them and what I use them for. In another video, I'll go ahead and show you how I determine what size generator I need. Very easy way to determine it. You can either do it with a pen and paper, or you can actually purchase a small device that's not very expensive that actually allows you to know exactly how many watts your appliances need, or at least those appliances that you would like to keep hooked up to the grid during a power outage. The next question is, do you use hot or warm jars when you can with the Instapot Max? Now, the Instapot Max, when it starts from cold, and then it slowly heats up. So I use just the cold jars. I put them in there with cold water, and then I go ahead and put it on the canning setting, and it will slowly heat itself up. So I don't put anything hot in there at all. Right? And it's always worked very well for me. Actually, I have a canning video that I will be doing soon, because I'm going to go ahead and show off some canning lids that I was sent by a company to see if they're any good. And if they are good, I'll go ahead and recommend them. If I don't like them, then I won't recommend them. But that should be coming up here pretty soon. Next question is by Josephine. Question, is Nutrient Survival's mixed berry drink good? The mixed berry drink from Nutrient Survival, ladies and gentlemen, it is really good. It's a very refreshing drink. It just tastes really good. I like to mix it with ice, and it tastes great. So yes, it is. In my opinion, it's good, and everyone that's tried it so far has liked it. I gave some to my daughter-in-law. She was like, that's great. And I gave her a box of it because I was like, hey, you need to get all of your nutrients and your vitamins, especially after having had a baby not too long ago. By the way, today is Michael's 1 month old day. I don't know how you say that. You know how people get when they have grandkids and kids, and it's like, hey, this is your 1 month day. So today he is 1 month old. Let's see. Lisbeth Rios asks, can I still pressure can even though my house isn't well insulated? I'm afraid that the jars will go bad in the summer. I just got my pressure canner. Well, this is what I think. I've actually read this before. I don't advocate for keeping your food above 70 degrees. However, I believe that canned foods will be good even if stored under 80 degrees. I believe that. Do your own research. I did find that in some kind of literature. I think it was from the USDA, to tell you the truth. I advocate for below 70 degrees. And no lower than like 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Our next question is from Mel. How do you store canned meats, and how long will the food last? According to the USDA, canned foods will last indefinitely as long as the can that is holding the food inside of it is not compromised. So as long as that can is not bulging, as long as the seal of the can hasn't been compromised, as long as there aren't any dents in that can that are bigger than your thumb, and there's no pinholes in the can, any compromise whatsoever, throw it away, in my opinion. But according to the USDA, canned food will stay good indefinitely, and if you store it in a location that is temperature controlled, like I just spoke about, the longer that it will keep its texture, its vitamins, and its taste. The next one is from Nelly Thursday. I got a question. Do you see the northern lights, and do they make any sound? I read somewhere that they sound like lightning. I see the northern lights all the time during the dark months, and they are beautiful. Sometimes there are just remarkable spectacles of what the Lord has provided us in nature. Of the beauty that has been provided to us in nature. However, I don't think they make any sound, at least at the ground level. All right, but yes, I see them during the wintertime when it's the dark months, and they are beautiful. Let's see, Nights Shining ASMR, AP. Should we prep for 3 years? Absolutely. I believe I put this one in there twice. I might have put this one in there twice. Yes, I did. But yes, we should prep for at least 3 years, as long as you can. So you got a 2-for-1 today, ASMR. 103 Catherine, can filtered water be stored longer than just tap water? Actually, I think the opposite. I think that tap water can be stored longer than filtered water, because tap water still has that chlorine or that bleach that the utility company put in there, and that will help to keep that water good for longer. Whereas filtered water, having no treatment in it whatsoever, whatever container you put it in, if there's a little bit of bacteria in there, it's going to multiply. In my opinion, having a good water filter, the best that you can afford, is very important in having a good stockpile of water, and something that you can clean water in case your stockpile runs out, depending on how long the crisis is. Adriana Munoz, should I get oil for my regular SUV? Well, Adriana, what I can tell you is that I do. I have at least 1 oil change or 2 oil changes for each of my vehicles, along with the oil filters as well. The last question is going to be from Michael Skinner. Could you use a Sawyer filter on a bottle of water to protect yourself? I think that the Sawyer mini filter, or the mini Sawyer, is an outstanding water filter that will last a long time, as long as you take care of it. However, like I said before, If it was an emergency, let's say I was in the middle of nowhere and now all I have is my little Sawyer Mini that's in my get home bag in my vehicles, absolutely, I would have no problem using it. However, if it was like an extended crisis where you were at home and you're only down to a Sawyer Mini, I would always take those extra precautions to make sure that my water is safe to drink even after I filtered it through a filter, all right, or ran it through a filter. So what I would always do is let's say I had to go get water from a pond. I would get that water and I would give it a pre-filter with, like, let's say some cheesecloth, right? And then once I did that, I would go ahead and I would boil it. And after I boiled it, I would put a few drops of bleach in it, depending on how much you have. If you have a gallon of water that needs to be treated, I believe it's around 8 drops of bleach. If it's really murky, nasty water, go ahead and double it. Once I did that and let it gas off for about half an hour or so, gassing off means allowing the bleach to exit the water, then I would go ahead and filter it and then I would drink it. That is what I would do for myself should I have to rely on a filter to get drinking water. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that that helped. Here is the meat and potatoes of yesterday's live stream. It's a really good one, actually. In this meat and potatoes, I talked to you about a conversation that I had with an insider that works for the lubrication, for a very large lubrication company. He talked to me about some of the difficulties that we will be having going forward with diesel engine oil. All right, so I'm going to go over the notes that I went with this gentleman. He actually called me yesterday. Yeah, yesterday afternoon. So like I said, this gentleman's been working in the lubrication business, like vehicle lubricants, and especially what we were talking about is the diesel engine oil is what we were talking about yesterday. And we talked for a good while, probably about 45 minutes or so. And I took some notes and I asked him if I can share these notes. And obviously, I'm not going to share his identity or where he is from. But he says that one of the major problems that they have with their specific company, and this is a big company, by the way, is that labor shortage. Nobody wants to work. Okay, nobody wants to work. And they're having a big issue with getting what I talked about on that video, with getting the ingredients that they need in order to add to the oil to make it into diesel engine oil. So they're having a big issue with getting those raw ingredients. And he said that they're also having a major issue with getting the heavy oil, because the oil that they use for diesel engine oil is a heavier class than your regular, engine oils for like cars and stuff like that. So he says they're having an issue doing that as well. He said that he thought ahead of time and that his company purchased a good amount ahead of time so that when everyone else starts to run out, that they can still service the companies that they service now. He told me that a big problem that they're having with keeping help is that people are quitting their jobs because they cannot afford the gasoline to get back and forth to work from their homes. This is a very important point. He told me that if we do end up entering into a war, he said that as soon as you hear that, go get everything you're going to need for the next couple of years. Because should we enter into a war, all of the businesses that make these products are going to declare force majeure and start diverting all of their product to the government. So ladies and gentlemen, that brings up a point. Why would you wait until war is declared before you go get something that you need, that you know that you're going to need in the future? Why not get it now before there's any panic in the streets? He says that the issue with the DEF and the diesel fuel seems like it will be hitting the truckers first before the issue with the engine oil, with the diesel engine oil. So what he's saying is that the DEF and the price of diesel fuel right now is a bigger issue for truckers than the issue with a lack of engine oil, because there's still engine oil on the shelf and still pretty much at the same price that has been sold. However, these other two factors may end up kicking out a lot of truckers from trucking, meaning that a lot of truckers are going to end up leaving trucking because they just no longer want to absorb the cost of all of the input costs that they have to put into driving their trucks from point A to point B. All right. So those are the notes that I took from my conversation with this gentleman. And to me, it validates that if you do own a vehicle with a diesel engine, that you should probably go and stock up. I just talked to a really good friend of mine. I love this guy. Unfortunately, I don't see him that often, but he came over and he said that, yeah, he watched my video and he went and stocked up on 18 months worth of diesel engine oil. And I'm like, great, because without diesel engine oil, the vehicles that he depends on, they may still run, but it will probably create damage if you overuse the oil that's already in it, because it won't be protecting the internal parts as good as if you were, keeping up with the maintenance. And with the way that things are going with parts shortages, with how long it takes to get parts, you don't really want to be breaking down, a year from now, all right, or 6 months from now. You really want to be breaking down. You want to make sure that you keep your vehicles as serviced as possible. Oh, another thing that I forgot, I saw it on the notes, I just forgot to mention it. This gentleman also told me that a lot of the lubricating greases, not oils, but greases, are also going to be coming up short. All right, so take that for what you will, ladies and gentlemen. Do your research, do your own due diligence, because the actions that you take today, you will have to live with. All right, whether I'm right or wrong, the actions that you take today, you will have to live with, and the inactions that you take today, you will have to live with as well.